Today we're going to be talking about The Florida Project, released in 2017, starring Brooklyn Prince, Christopher Rivera, Aidan Malik, Josie Olivo, Valeria Cotto, Edward Pagan, Bria Venati, Patty Wiley, Jazanea Ramos, Willem Dafoe, Rosa Medina Perez, and Mela Murder.
Set over one summer, the film follows precocious 6-year-old Mooney as she courts mischief and adventure with her ragtag playmates and bonds with her rebellious but caring mother, all while living in the shadows of Walt Disney World. The Florida Project is directed by Sean Baker. It's written by Sean Baker and Chris Burgach. The film is edited by Sean Baker as well. Cinematography by Alexis Zabe, and the music is by Lauren Balfe.
The production company is A24. The budget was $2 million, and the worldwide gross was $10,971,298.
I'm surprised. Opening weekend USA gross $157,000. That sounds a lot more sad, but still.
Yeah, it's A24, you know, it always has that tiny, small opening.
Yeah. 10.9 million overall, though. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I'd be happy with that.
500%.
All right, so the Florida Project. So I heard a lot of good things about this film, like a lot of good things, but I just never got around to watching it until Dylan came to me and said, we should watch this film. And he said it was really good. So then sat down, gave it a viewing, and I am very excited to talk about this film today.
Yeah. I actually only had one person in one of my classes mention it in passing. And I was like, oh, I'll look that up. Oh, that looks pretty interesting. And it's A24? Okay, might as well watch it. So I watched it on my laptop in bed with some headphones on. And how did you watch it?
I watched The Florida Project on my PC. It's a decent size screen. This is a 32-inch monitor, so I had pretty decent size. It's the closest thing I have to a actual TV screen without being in my living room. So, and I listened to it through headphones, and I had a pretty decent viewing experience. I had to pause it here and there to go do something in between, but luckily the end of the film wasn't, staggered in any way, so I was able to get through the whole last act of it pretty straightforward. But yeah, let's get into this film. So from the beginning, I was super on board because they started playing Kool and the Gang, and I'm always down for Kool and the Gang.
Yeah, that was a really great opening. Just that song really sets the really helps with setting the atmosphere of the film.
Yeah, I also have here that it's pretty super upbeat, and it's like very, very colorful film. I mean, the first thing we see is the kid sitting in front of this purple wall, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. Like, I've never, color is definitely a huge part of this film. I just like the way it's shot, like the palette. It looks just really, really cool. I thought it was very it's very rainbow, magic-y, and I mean, we'll get into it, and I think there are plenty of themes and motifs and ideas about a kingdom and a castle, and I mean, there's just a lot to dissect here, but yeah, from the beginning, I was hooked into it. I thought it looked gorgeous.
Yeah, the film is so vibrant with its colors. It's like all these bright purples and greens and yellows. And the facades that they pass by, with like that gift shop and the ice cream place, they're so, like, you don't really see anything like that here in New Jersey. That's something that's, yeah, it seems very Floridian. I say, with the 2 times that I've been to Florida, neither time outside of the realm of Disney World. So
we mean no offense to any Floridians out there, yes, but I would take it as a compliment because it makes you guys stand out, because this film looks gorgeous and the area just looks really, really nice to be in.
So many cicadas.
Maybe not this motel though. I don't know. We'll get into it. I don't know if I'd spend my time at this motel. So we're introduced to Mooney, played by Brooklyn Prince, and I'll go through it the more we go through this film, but I thought she was great. So she was awesome in this film. Yeah, we see her, and the first thing we see is her and her friends Scooty and Dickie running around causing mischief, just being little kids.
Yes. Brooklyn Prince did a fantastic job acting in this film. With the exception of Willem Dafoe, I think all of them are first-time actors and non-actors there. So just to see the performance levels that Sean Baker gets out of all of them is really just so impressive to see.
Yeah, totally agree. I mean, I thought they were all so good. Like I was surprised. I was like, I don't know if I've seen a better child performance. Like it was very, very clearly just very well done.
Yeah, it was supernatural. I never I never felt the acting really at all. And then at the end when she's sobbing in front of Chansey, like that was, oh my God.
Yeah, no, I definitely felt it at the end. I was like, oh man, like they definitely had me invested. They definitely had me caring. And they just felt like kids. Like you just felt sympathy for them. You felt really bad for them. I mean, towards the end of it, but again, the beginning of the film plays it a lot differently. I don't know about you, but I mean, when I initially saw these kids and what they were doing, I was like, these kids are just a bunch of a-holes.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Like, they just beeline to Futureland and start spitting on this car for no reason. Like, okay.
Yeah, I was like, it's not really like, and they're so vulgar and they're just yelling profanity. And I have in quotes here, Mooney yells a stupid thought.
I do remember her saying that, yeah.
And I watch films with subtitles on just because it's just I've always watched films with subtitles on. I feel like I understand the screenplay better, and I feel like reading I absorb the dialogue more. But the actual subtitle reads "stupid thought" as in like like you actually think of
right.
it. It was hilarious. I was like, that's great. I mean, but even if they are vulgar and just being a bunch of a-holes, I thought it was like they're still cute and like funny. Like they didn't make it like too bad.
Mm-hmm. Like you're able to kind of just write most of it off as, oh, they're just kids, they're just kids being kids. But there's also like they learn this behavior somewhere, right? Whether it's like from each other or from a parent. It definitely signals that they're in a place that isn't sophisticated. Like they're not Eagleton versus Pawnee from Parks and Rec. It's it's a very different place than what some of us might be used to.
It truly does seem out of this world. Like it's very like, I mean, I'm lucky enough to have never really experienced a living situation like this, but the way it's portrayed, it just feels like it's its own little kingdom. Like it is Magic Kingdom from Disney, essentially. Except it's a very like ghetto hood version of Magic Kingdom with these kids running around. And I mean, we eventually get to meet Haley, which is Mooney's mother. I mean, I don't know about you, I hated her. Through the first quarter of this film, or the first third of this film, I was like, all right, she's fine. But the back half, I was like, I cannot stand her. I don't know if I don't know if I was just like me being harsh or if you felt the same way, but it got to a point where I was like, you are just an awful mother, an awful person.
Yeah, a lot of her actions are extremely questionable. She is not fit to be a mother. But
in any way,
there's still that connection that she has with Mooney that you cannot deny. Like it's certainly a very strong bond that they have with each other, and they're mother and daughter, but they're also sisters in a way.
Mm-hmm.
And because Haley is a teenager without really any parental guidance to help her learn how to be an adult. She's kind of just taking this on her own. I guess you could kind of say Bobby is, but it's not really like Bobby's not always with her to teach her everything. He kind of just checks in every now and then. So Haley's just trying to figure it all out on her own. Like the way she goes about it is not upstanding in any way. The intention she has that I felt was that like she's trying to let Mooney be a kid. She's trying to let her enjoy her childhood while she takes on all of the anxieties of adulthood and, you know, deal with the bills, deal with finding a job and getting money, finding food and all of that. And Mooney is free to like just roam around the town with her friends and be a kid, because you only get like 12 years of that until you start to learn about how messed up life really is. So to have that time to really just be curious about the world is, I felt like that was something that Haley was trying to do, maybe consciously, maybe just like subconsciously, or in some way she was trying to do that. And I felt that intention was admirable.
I agree that there is undoubtedly is a connection between her and Mooney. Like they're very close. She loves Mooney a lot. But as a mother and the way she pays the bills and takes on the responsibilities, I just thought was it's inexcusable. I mean, with the kid, I mean, I just thought that Haley was really difficult to get behind as a character and to feel for. She's just so petty. Like her and Ashley are super chill, and then, you know, as soon as Ashley is no longer of use by giving food, Haley just completely disregards her. And then later on in the film, when they're still beefing, there's still this really bad grudge and they're giving each other attitude. As soon as Haley can't pay her rent, she goes to Ashley to ask for money. And I was like, are you like, really? I was like, now that you need her, you're going to go ask her? And I just thought, I don't know, I just couldn't get over that. And as a person, I didn't think she was good as a person. To Mooney, obviously that's her daughter. I would hope so. She's good, but the way she treats others really turned me off to her as a character. And I mean, there's a lot of scenes that have me question like what Mooney has learned from Haley, like flipping people off, using vulgar language. Just like, you can have fun as a kid without doing things that are like just dangerous, like straight up dangerous, like burning a house. I mean, they burn a whole complex building down because they light a pillow on fire. I mean, there's just a lot of things that I thought were questionable about her character. You know, not just her motherhood. Like her motherhood is, she's very supportive of her daughter, like very, very supportive of her daughter, and I get that, and she'll always defend Mooney, but there are just some like behavioral things that I don't think she got right at all with teaching her kid. But I mean, I appreciate that she truly cares for Mooney. I mean, if she didn't care for Mooney, she'd be like absolutely hated. But that is one redeeming thing I'll give her, is that she loves and cares for Mooney a lot, and she'll do whatever it takes for Mooney.
Yeah, the way she treats other people is not at all acceptable. Like she takes out her pad and slams it on the window. Like that's just,
oh my god,
real
that
classy.
Was disgusting. Yeah, oh, that was so bad.
Yeah, that behavior really is not defendable in any way. Perhaps her behavior is learned from her mother. So the way we see Mooney kind of becoming Haley in that way, maybe Haley had become the way that her mother was. So it's like this same pattern being repeated all the way down. Like, yeah, haha, kid cursing, it can be funny, but when they don't have someone to tell them that that's not acceptable, and then they get worse at it, it's a tragic thing to see.
I feel like most of the plot of this film is just, it's mostly character work. Actually, it's pretty much all character work. Just watching how these people play off each other and what their relationships are to each other. But I was taking notice of how little Haley like supervises Mooney at all, and how she just wanders around, knocks on people's doors, goes into places she's not supposed to. She's no adult to actually tell her these things. And while it was fun watching the kids do that, I agree with you. It's like when you have no one to tell you like that's wrong, and you're just seeing the kid think that's normal to be able to do whatever you want. It is sad. It's tragic because Mooney is obviously a really nice girl, and she's very curious and she likes to have fun. But there's a certain point where it gets to be destructive, where it becomes chaos. There's no really any structure to what she does in her day. I mean, the film doesn't really shy away from making it seem like the kids just wander. I mean, there's so many wide shots of them just walking around through places and doing whatever it is. So there's a sense of there's a lack of direction in the kids' lives. But when you're a kid, you're not conscious of that lack of direction. You just do whatever you want to.
Yeah, being able to just roam the town, while it is important to be curious and adventurous, it's also important to know when adventure goes too far and you end up burning down an abandoned housing complex. It's it's you need that rope around you to be pulled back, because as a kid you don't know right from wrong, really. You just do whatever interests you, and without that check and balance, you just become kind of addicted to that curiosity, and just doing things for the sake of doing them can be a dangerous path if you don't have that crutch of knowing, oh, okay, that is socially and morally looked down upon, so I'm not going to do that thing.
When you don't have the direction, it's not like learned behavior at that point. You're doing what you've been allowed to do, and the more you do of that thing, the more you just get used to it. So you get used to getting your way. And I mean, the only times that Mooney, like when Mooney does do something wrong, Haley comes and defends her, and Mooney sees it as my mom is defending me because I'm right. But in reality, it's, what Haley should be doing is telling Mooney that, no, you're supposed to do this, this, and that. But when Haley behaves the same way, if not worse, and it's not really a good role model, I think that's where Bobby comes in as almost the guardian of, the Magic Castle. Literally the Magic Castle.
Yeah, he's like the one saving face in this movie.
Oh, 100%. I mean, how are we introduced to him? We don't see him until the kids get into the power room and they shut it off.
Yeah.
And that's when the first thing we hear Bobby say is, oh, fuck. Because the power goes out. And then he comes out, and then everybody's yelling at him and flipping out because, they've all lost power. I like how everybody respects Bobby, though.
Yeah, they do seem to know that he's a good person, which is good to see.
Mm-hmm. It could have easily been the Green Goblin landlord, where he's just an a-hole to everybody. But I like that Bobby is the one person who actually cares for these kids, while the parents don't seem to give a rat's ass, or at least Haley doesn't seem to give a rat's ass. I really like this character a lot.
What is it? When the Department of Children and Families comes to the apartment, and Haley's like talking, or more like yelling at the workers. It's Bobby who comes to talk with Mooney and Jancy and try to diffuse the situation and have them not worry.
Yeah, I noticed that too. While Haley's flipping out and losing her mind about, protective services coming over. I thought that was really touching that, Bobby takes the time to tell Mooney that everything's going to be okay. And I don't know, would you consider this a happy film? I know it's a loaded question. It's a very difficult question.
I'd say it's happy for Mooney till the point that DCF comes to split her up from Haley.
Mm-hmm.
because this is a really fun summer for Mooney, I think, until that point.
For Mooney, it is. I'm saying as a viewer, when you're understanding the dynamics, like when you're understanding what's going on when Mooney's in the tub with blasting hip hop music, like she's having fun in the tub.
Right.
But in the context of the scene,
Mm-hmm.
we know what's going on. We know that's horrendous.
Yeah.
That's going on while as a child in the room. The fact that, I mean, there's a pedophile roaming on the premises while the kids are having fun. From Mooney's perspective, she's having fun. But again, in the overall scope of it, we see what those kids could possibly have been exposed to if not for Bobby. And Haley's nowhere to be seen during that scene. God forbid something happened to Mooney, but it's not really happy. To me, it's just tragic watching this quote unquote magic castle is anything but a magic castle. It just seems like all these people struggling, bad situations. In the grand scheme of it, looking at how she's having that good childhood, it's that she's being shielded and distracted from things that are going on around her. I mean, that scene with her in the tub, I mean, she's literally shielded. I mean, she's behind a door in a separate bathroom for privacy in a tub by herself with blasting music. She's completely shielded from. She's shielded visually. I mean, auditory. She hears nothing except for the music. She's in her own world. And yes, I get that for childhood, it's like important to live your life and be a kid, and that's happy. For Mooney, yes, obviously that's happy. She's playing with toys and doing her own thing with her friends, but everybody else does not seem to be having a good time. Even Bobby. I mean, I like Bobby a lot, but we see a little bit of character work with him and I believe his son, and how he's not really, I guess his son or his ex-wife they don't really like him. There's something there, but
I think it's a good representation of Orlando, because you think Orlando, you think immediately the happiest place on earth with Disney World right there. But this movie takes place in the outskirts of that area. And this is what's going on just outside the happiest place on earth. So while on the surface, it could seem like a happy film. And for Mooney, it is a happy time up to that point. Underneath all of that, it's a lot of struggle and striving for that happiness that is right there, but rarely ever achieving it. It's just a bunch of people trying to get by, make ends meet. Some are rude and obnoxious, and some are... You don't get a lot of people like Bobby. You only get the one in this film.
So, I mean, I guess, how do we go through this plot-wise? See what I'm saying? Is it really like a plot to this film? I feel like it's just like child experiences.
Yeah, when I Googled the film, it listed it as a slice of life film, which I really like that phrase, because it's kind of like, this is a portrait of a motel or of a family in a motel in the outskirts of Disney World. So we get to see all of that play out. It's kind of like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. You just kind of see those characters live in that world that is now long gone. Whereas here, it's still happening to this day. So I guess it's like a series of interesting events that build the characters throughout Mooney's summer.
Yeah, I agree. I can't really disagree that this is definitely a plot, not plot lacking, but I feel like it's plot secondary. It's mostly just like to view characters,
right,
and how they interact with each other and their relationships, as I've said before. But for me, what supports that is that it wasn't like watching like events happen that was really getting me interested. It was being invested in what's going to happen to these characters. Like, how is this all going to end? Especially towards the what is it, towards the middle of the film or the end of the film, where the kids burn down the apartment complex, and it's really bad. And Ashley, who's Scooty's mother, realizes that it's not exactly safe for them to just go wandering around anymore. And I mean, I don't know about you, but I liked Ashley. I thought Ashley was in the right for a lot of the times in the way she was trying to be responsible, and she had like a regular day job trying to support Scooty. She was nice enough to feed her friends Haley and Mooney. I just really appreciated how the film was showing two different types of people that were living in this motel, two different mothers, if you will. It was Haley and Ashley, and the way they raise their kids and the way they choose to control what they do. Ashley steps in and stops Scooty from doing whatever he wants to. And then, we see how that relationship goes, and, it's just a basic mother-son relationship, and she tries to keep him safe. But then we see the other end of that, which is Haley, who lets Mooney do whatever the hell she wants to, and Haley does whatever the hell she wants to, and we see how that ends. And I thought that was an interesting contrast between the two. Really sad by the end of it, but I thought it was it felt real that we were seeing not just one, but we were seeing different angles to this.
Yeah, that wasn't something I had picked up on, but it is interesting to see the contrast. Like Haley, or Ashley, Haley beats Ashley's face in, but Haley ends up losing her kid. So it's the lesser of two evils, is how Ashley ends up once the whole situation ends. Yeah, it is interesting to see the different ways that they react. Like Haley doesn't even question that it might have been Mooney who set that fire, whereas something told Ashley, okay, Scooty, you might have done something here. You better not lie to me. I want to know the truth. And then Scooty owns up to it. And then just being able to own up to it is something that can show like more maturity for Scooty over Mooney.
I mean, you can even in the way the mothers react to the fire. It's Ashley sits home with Scooty and asks, "Did you have something to do with this?" And they have a legitimate discussion about it. Whereas Haley takes Mooney and says, "Let's go to the fire."
Yeah.
And she takes Mooney to the fire. She even takes a picture of Mooney in front of the fire, like laughing and saying, like, "Oh, this is a cute shot." It just reinforces how Haley just thinks everything's light, nothing's really serious. Even after that, when the there's like you remember the scene where there was like a fight outside of the motel, and there's
With
like
the
the
car?
yeah. That I made a note of, because while that fight is happening, right, Haley is filming it, yelling "World Star" and just trying to get, like, she's just laughing, and her and Mooney are just having a good time jumping around. On the lower floor below that, Ashley grabs Scooty and brings him inside because she doesn't want him to see what's going on.
Right.
So I thought that was really cool in the way that they were showing how to approach the situation differently, and what kind of mothers they are. And then I hate the next scene after this, after the fight, irked me so much. I hated Haley in this scene. It was just so tragic to see that Mooney went along with it too. The scene where they go to the diner where Ashley works, and they ask her for all of this food.
Yeah. Like one of everything, or one of whatever.
Yeah,
Mooney
they just
wants.
ask for like so much. They ask for a ton of food. I mean, Haley specifically asks for Ashley to be the waitress, just to make it difficult. And my God, the scene irked me so much, because I was like, like, I mean, me personally, I'm with Ashley on all this and saying that, listen, I need to like stop enabling this, and I need to stop hanging out and letting my son hang out with a mother and daughter who seem to not care about anything and just do whatever they want. And I understand that, because Ashley has to do what's best for her son. But it's like, my God, I was just so annoyed that Haley decided to approach the confrontation this way.
Yeah, it's not mature in the slightest. She just goes to the diner and makes Ashley work her ass off, and it's not even positive if she's going to be able to pay for it all. She says, "Yeah, I have it," but you don't really know. And with her
I didn't
track
trust
record,
her. I
yeah,
I thought she was going for like a dine and dash kind of thing, and they're just gonna just be really bad about it. But
right.
and then she makes, and directly after that, they're walking out,
Hmm.
and I don't know if I should take this as Haley being mad at herself, at life, at Ashley. All the food that she makes Ashley pack, she takes it outside with Mooney, and then she just slams it all on the floor and kicks it around.
Yeah.
And I think, and I didn't really know how to read that as, I don't know if she was, what do you think? Do you think that was like her being mad that she did that? Do you think it was just her being frustrated with everything, or just is that just also in spite of Ashley?
I interpret it as being in spite of Ashley. Um, like it's kind of like she made Ashley pack all that up for nothing. Like no one's going to be able to enjoy those leftovers now. So it's like one final fuck you to Ashley.
I was really trying to get something redeeming. I was like, maybe she's mad at herself. I was like, maybe she realizes it, but I guess not.
Yeah, I don't
God.
think. Yeah, Haley does not have like a redeeming arc in this film because she sticks it through to the end with those child workers. Yeah, she never really realizes the error in her ways as much as we would want her to see it.
But directly after this scene, we get some backstory on Bobby. What did you think about this scene? Him and that's his son, right? That they're moving the ice machine.
Yeah, yeah,
So Bobby uses his son as an extra hand at the motel, right? And what does the son says that he wished a happy birthday or something to his mom?
yeah. And he said that he wished it from Bobby too. And Bobby's like, "What? Why'd you say that? I never wished her a happy birthday. Tell her you call her right now and tell her that I didn't say happy birthday." Yeah, so there's still some bad blood there.
Yeah, he's like, why? Why would you do that? And I can't believe it. He says he was like, call and tell her now that I didn't. He's like, first get on the phone. He's like, we're not doing anything until you get on the phone and tell her. And I was like, wow, he must really. That there must be some really bad stuff there that we, just don't see. I like how subtle it is, though. It's not really like you don't get like a flashback scene. Bobby's not like an alcoholic on the side.
Right.
It's not like anything dramatic. It's just like it's like a quick minute or two of him, and you're not even sure it's his like son for sure. Or I wasn't at least sure. Maybe I'm just like not. Maybe I just wasn't. But yeah, I thought it was a good scene. I thought Willem Dafoe was great. I thought his face was the way he portrays like this sadness that he's like I hate my ex-wife, but like I'm sad that I'm doing this to my son. It's really awkward between them two in the elevator too afterwards, and I don't know. I thought it was great character work. Again, it's a lot of character dynamics, and I thought it was really well done.
Yeah, it's a good scene. Being able to not show, yeah, Bobby's an alcoholic, or like something happened between him and his ex-wife. Like instead of flashing back to that, being able to to just show what that relationship brings about in an interaction, like with his son telling him, "Oh, I wished her a happy birthday for you," and then him freaking out about it. Like seeing that is more interesting than seeing a flashback.
100%. Or any kind of like cliched way of handling, like a damaged past and whatever. Like it was really cool. Like we didn't get like a lot of it. Like when we did get it, it hit hard.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was like we've seen Bobby so far. I mean, he ejects a pedophile. He's like telling freaking Gloria to cover herself up
Yeah.
at the pool. It was just like Bobby has Bobby's job is not fun like at all. It just seemed like a lot of fun. At least people respect him, and I think the whole pedophile scene that really got me on Bobby's side.
Hmm.
The way he was able to step in and to say, "Come over here, let's go do something." And then I love how when he's taking a sip of the Sprite, Bobby just has enough of it. He just smacks out of his hand. He's like,
Yeah.
Just get out, just get the hell out of here. Like, I know what this is all about." And I thought it was funny. It was great character work, and it just shows you how much Bobby cares about these kids and keeping them safe and not letting really like not really letting anything happen to them. I mean, he tries his best to shield them from, a lot of what's going on around them, and I guess just the world as a whole. But it seems like Bobby himself is also trying to hide from his past as well. And I thought that was a really cool scene with him and his son in the ice machine.
Oh yeah, Haley's going around, and then just in some way try to get some cash flow in, and she kind of uses Mooney as the sympathetic card, like, "Oh, come on, I got a kid, just buy some perfume off of me."
It's like she cares for Mooney, and I get that, but she's also like using Mooney as like,
Right. Exploiting her.
Yeah. But I was like, I like this next scene where they're just sitting there eating pizza together in the room, and I love how Mooney was like, she's like, "I like pepperoni," and Haley just keeps responding with, "Pepperoni's expensive."
Yeah.
I just like that little moment with it. Like, I thought it was really cute, and it just shows the struggle that Haley's in, but also the world that Mooney's living in, where she's like, "Well, why can't I get pepperoni? There should be, I should be able to get it."
Right. It's still that, like, you can kind of start seeing that I want it, but in this situation, you can't have it. Like, I want to go out and explore Futureland, and then she just goes and does it. I want some pepperoni, but you can't pay for that, so you can't get it here.
And like she's like asking, she was like, or like she's like, "What are we watching on TV?" And she's like, "Can I just get the iPad?" And then Haley's like, "I sold the iPad."
Right.
And she's like, "Why?" And she's like, "The room costs money." And I just thought it was like it's like they leave the reality checks so few and far between. I mean, until the end, but like when you do get those moments, you just realize like how spoiled I guess Mooney is, but also just how much Haley is actually struggling to keep, the place up and to provide. But after that, so I didn't really understand this whole scene. So Haley and Mooney have to move down to the first floor because of what?
Yeah, I didn't understand it either. Like, they go in and out of rooms and take laundry out and stuff. That's what it is.
Yeah, they have like clothes, and they have like this new spot to be in. I don't know what that was for. I don't really understand why they had to be in a different room.
Yeah, I didn't quite understand it either, because I was still able to follow it without understanding what that was. So, and she was like trying to check in at another hotel or something.
Yeah, she just got like kicked out for like a day or something. I have no idea. I guess what we're really supposed to pay attention to is the next scene, because the next scene, Haley goes to this other motel, and she goes absolutely ballistic on this hotel or motel receptionist, who says she can't get the room for, how much was it? I forgot what the price was. 45. They're trying to charge her $45 instead of 35. And she loses her mind about that. I like how during all of this like struggle and this entire argument, they just keep cutting back to Mooney dancing and like just watching TV.
And then she exclaims, "Give us a break, lady."
I love that line. That was so funny to me.
Anytime she like exclaims something and then ends it with "lady," this is my favorite.
Yeah, again, she's great in this film. And then of course Bobby comes running over to try to save the day and talks to the I guess the hotel manager or the receptionist, whatever. Doesn't really go as planned, and then of course Haley has to throw a fit, and then she dumps Sprite all over the floor and then just leaves. And again, this is another point where I was like, okay, She's like, because it's like I feel for the situation. Like we need somewhere to stay, but I'm just like, really? Do you have to be like that?
Yeah, it's just that immaturity coming out again.
Yeah, exactly. I was just like, why? I was like, just you couldn't handle this normally. Like, please. I bet if you were just nicer about it, you could maybe have worked something out. But yeah, so they end up staying at their friend's place. Is it Gloria's?
Um, Jancy's mother. I don't think we ever get a name. Gloria's the one with her her tits out at the pool.
Oh my god, that's definitely not Gloria. So they stay there at her friend's place, and they hang out with Jancy, and they do their thing. And the next day they move back out, and they move back into their place. But then we get the next scene where Haley's trying on swimsuits and stuff, and she puts Mooney in a swimsuit, and they're like taking pictures and stuff. And then she asks Mooney to take a photo of her in front of the mirror. And we don't know the context of it at all. And initially when I was watching it, I was like, oh, she's just taking a photo.
Yeah.
Yeah, somehow. Not what that's... No. It is not just a photo. I think this is when... Yeah, I think the next scene after that, you have Jancy and Mooney in this gorgeous shot of the whole motel. They're in the foreground, and there's just a rainbow over the castle.
Yeah.
And I was like... And I was having like an issue with... well, not an issue, actually. I was just conflicted. I was like, this movie is... I think it was mostly just interesting how the film was trying to show such a dilapidated way of life, and a really just like not like the best living situation, but it was also presenting us with these bright colors, rainbows. Like, remember the shot of the wizard?
Yes,
that wizard store,
shot.
that wizard shot. I love that shot. The ice cream place, like it all just looks fantastical. It just looks like a fantasy land.
Yeah.
But under the whole fantasy land, you see exactly what's really going on.
Right. It's like, it's a view of the projects with a sort of optimistic outlook.
It's like this fantastical filter.
Yeah.
That you're looking at it with.
Yeah, like all these people, they're not doing the best in life, but that doesn't mean that every day is like this cloudy, depressing mess. Like there are some bright spots, and I think this movie tries to focus on those until those bright spots end up inevitably coming to the end of this movie.
Yeah, I like that shot a lot. But so we get that, and I was like really praising the cinematography. I was like, this looks really, really nice. It's beautiful.
They were planning on CGIing that rainbow in, and that would have cost $50,000, but one day they were shooting and it just came out, and they were like, hey, let's get it now.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's so cool. I'm like, how much does it cost to CGI rainbow?
$50,000 for some reason.
Oh my god. That's all right. Well, it's $50,000 saved.
Yeah.
I think, what is that? Like, that's like a third or a quarter of what they made their opening US weekend. My god. So that would have covered the rainbow. So then after that whole like rainbow shot, and Jancy and Mooney run back into the Magic Castle, we get the first shot of Mooney in the bathtub with the hip hop music playing in the background. And did you know as soon as you saw this what was going on? No, right?
No, of course not. No. I was just like, I had written in my notebook, like, so many bath scenes? What does that represent?
Yeah, I was like, what is this supposed to be? So then after that, we see Willem Dafoe, or we see Bobby and Narik walking around, and they're, Narik's just a typical guy telling him, put up signs, deal with these people. So the scene
bicycles, right?
Yeah, the scene with Bobby and Narik, he's talking about bikes and moving them and like putting them in the back. And then he was like, you have like a week to do it, put them up. They have like a week deadline or they're going to get cut off. And I was like, that's a little excessive, but I was like, whatever. I guess that's how motel owners be sometimes. And I feel like Bobby just is listening to this guy like, oh my god, I want to punch you in the face.
I want to slap a spray can out of your hands.
Literally. Oh my. After that, we get another bathtub scene. And I was like, okay, these are definitely important. I still didn't figure it out. So the second one, I was like, nope, still don't have it. And then there's a scene of Haley, Mooney, and Jancy, and they're trying to hitchhike for some reason.
Yeah.
They're hitchhiking to, I think, Disney, right?
Yeah, they go, it looks like some parking lot just outside Disney to celebrate Jancy's birthday with the fireworks show.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, so I mean that's pretty cool. And I let me see like these moments like these. I'm just like, oh, and Haley's like really thinking about the kids and celebrating her birthday and stuff like that with like a fireworks show. But then they directly contrast that with another bathtub scene.
Yeah.
At this point, I still don't know. So this is the third time. I'm not really sure like what's going on. Then we cut to Bobby, and he's outside smoking a cigarette, and then he sees someone leave the place, and then I think that's when he realizes like something's going on there, and it's really suspicious and just not, I think that's when Bobby figures it out, or he at least is suspicious of it. But then we get another scene where he sees Scooty and Ashley at the pool, and then that's when he actually asks like, have you been spotting Haley on the rent? Because apparently she's been making rent on time, but Bobby has no idea how. And then directly after that, I love the scene where Mooney asks Haley, can I go swim with Scooty? And then Haley's like, not while Ashley's there. And I just liked how Haley will let Mooney do whatever she wants, only when it's like what is convenient to her, I guess.
Yeah, if it like goes directly against Haley, then that's off limits. Anything else you can do.
It was, yeah, I was just like, oh my god, I was like, you were so petty, it's awful. I think it's the next scene. Yeah, so then after that, with the whole pool scene, she's like, no, you can't go, and Mooney's like, well, why not? And and she's like, not, well, that bitch is there. And I was like, oh my god, I was like, you really hate her. I think, and then we get the next bath scene where I mean, before, when Bobby's talking about it and Haley walks out of the room and she's asking like what car you're driving, I was like, oh my god, I was like, that's what she's doing. She's being a prostitute just to pay rent. Dude, I was like jaw on the floor when the guy just opened the door and he sees Mooney. I was like, no way. I knew it was happening, but I was like, oh, now they're just gonna show us the bathtub scene, except in the context of now that you know.
Yeah.
But they actually have him walk in, and Mooney's reaction is so, I just feel so bad. Like, she just looks, and he just closes the curtain really quickly. You see her just hold it there, and she just looks. I felt so bad. I don't know. I was just, at this point, I was just like, dude, are you serious?
Yeah, this is another point where like that pretty facade that is built up around it comes falling down, and then we see like again that seedy underbelly of the whole place.
I mean, I like how, I mean, figuratively, like when Mooney is exposed to what's going on outside, the first door opens and then she closes the curtain to shield herself once more. So I saw that as like, that was subtle, but very clear what they're trying to do there. That Mooney's sort of aware of it, and she doesn't question it. She just does it. She just thinks that's that's just how it works. Or she probably doesn't even know what's really going on between them, but she just lets it happen. She doesn't ask or anything. She just closes the curtain and keeps on doing whatever she's doing.
Right, but like if she doesn't know what is happening, like for some reason there's this strange man now in their apartment, and like even that could be enough to make a kid uncomfortable, not even knowing like what they're doing just outside the room, just knowing that there's someone you don't know in the room.
So after that scene, we have Haley and Mooney selling magic bands that Haley stole, and then the guy comes back and tries to get them again, and then of course Bobby steps in, and I like how he just stands in between the door and he's like, she doesn't know what you're talking about. I'm sorry, she just doesn't know what you're talking about, as if that's the end of the discussion. But it's crazy to me that like Bobby definitely knows that The guy is in the right here because she probably did steal it, but he still defends.
Right. I really like the way Bobby handled this situation, because like he was able to infer that this guy is looking for magic bands, but he came to this apartment and he knows what Haley's been doing. So he was like able to piece together, okay, those magic bands are probably for a family, including a wife. So this guy came here to do that stuff with Haley, and now he's demanding magic bands back. But he just did a bit of infidelity, so you're not going to win. But he doesn't let Haley get off completely scot-free either. Like he makes her have to check in the guests at the front desk, so neither person gets what they want completely. Like he allows Haley to keep that money, but he doesn't let her win the fight.
Yeah, it's also crazy to me how Bobby defends Haley like very very like adamantly and says just get off the property. Like I know like why you were here. Like you must have a family and kids. Directly after that, as soon as he demands that Haley actually like checks in people and gets like a real job, she flips out on him. And I'm just like, he just defended you.
Yeah.
And then the way she reacts and how just childish it is, and she just takes the pad and just puts it onto the freaking glass door.
Mm-hmm.
Bobby just like, oh, nice, great. But then this next scene gets, I mean, I don't even know. It gets really bad because then, obviously Haley can't pay rent anymore with doing what she was doing. So now she has to go to Ashley to ask for money.
And then,
oh man, at this point I was like, there's no way. I was like, she won't. I didn't expect a fight. I expected them to have like a massive argument. I didn't expect her to just burst in while Scooty's there and beat Ashley.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh my god! I was like, that's ridiculous.
And then you think more about it, it's like it's completely within Haley's character. Like she doesn't care about what's right or wrong. She's mad at Ashley, so she's gonna beat her.
Yeah, therefore Ashley must suffer. Like it's just the most childish.
Yeah,
it's the most childish, just ridiculous thing. And I like how Ashley very quickly reveals that everybody in the whole complex already knows what's going on, and she has the photo. And she's like, that's not me. And Haley's like, just, it's like ridiculous. And Ashley's like, those are your tats. Are you like fucking serious?
Right.
It's when she was like, if Scooty is ever in the room while you were being a whore, she was like, I'll kill you. And then that's when it really gets bad. And then that's when Ashley beats the crap out of her. It was really bad. I really just, I thought it was so just sad seeing Scooty stand there in the foreground.
Yeah.
He's completely in focus, and you just see his hands go up to his mouth as he watches this random person beat the crap out of his mom.
And I feel like you feel that those punches more from Scooty's perspective.
Oh, definitely. And the sound design helps too.
Yeah.
I mean, those sounded, I was like, oh my God. But then as soon as she does that, Haley runs back upstairs and she just like vomits, and I was like, oh my God. I was like, she's just an absolute mess. I knew at this point, I was like, things are going to get really, really bad here. And this is when child services actually show up. I think Haley realizes that, I guess it's coming to an end, or it's soon going to come to an end.
Yeah.
And I think I really thought this is the scene that really turned me around like a little bit on Haley, when she was just like, let's just go out. And they just go run around in the rain, and they're like smiling, having a good time, playing with each other. I was like, okay. I was like, don't do this to me. I was like, please don't do this to me. I was like, you have me hate this chick, and you have her just, spend time with her daughter like this. I was like, you're playing with my heart.
Yeah, it goes back to like doing whatever it takes to keep Moody safe, or not safe, but like to maintain that bond.
I thought it was so sweet. I was like, she's just getting it. I think she's just getting it in one last time. Or maybe she didn't know, but I took it as like, I'm just going to get one more playtime in with my daughter.
Like trying to make the most of what they have left.
Yeah. And then they start cleaning up the apartment to hopefully try to, hopefully save the whole situation, but obviously it's not going to work. Cleaning your apartment is just not going to be, enough to turn off child services to what's going on.
Right.
And then we have this random ass scene. I mean, I think Haley gives away her weed to like the
laundry
housekeeper, on the laundry
Yeah.
people, and she's just like, okay, thanks. And then we have Jancy and Mooney just hugging each other, playing. And then I don't know why we get this, but we just get like a minute or so Willem Dafoe chasing off some birds off the parking lot.
Yeah. It's so
Okay,
fun
no,
though.
I don't know why we get it, but I loved it.
We got it because those birds kept like annoying them when they were filming on set. So at one point they were just like, you know what, screw it. We'll film a scene with them. So they had Defoe go out and like shoo them off.
That's so funny. I just thought it was hilarious. I was like, why? Why include this? I was like, this should be on like the cutting room floor. But if that's why, then I'll give it to them. I thought it was really funny. It's just like, hey, boys, good morning.
Yeah.
And I was just
Going
like,
on, boys.
I was like, what is he talking to? And the camera just follows him, and it's just three birds. One of them is like stretching its wings. The middle one is just staring at him. He's like, no harm, no foul.
Put in there somewhere.
Yeah, he's like, there's a joke in there somewhere. There's definitely, it was a moment of levity before we really get the end of this film.
Mhm.
Actually, before like the actual end of the film, we get Mooney and Haley go to Disney, I believe, and they eat at like a random buffet. And I think this is once again Haley just getting making sure her daughter is happy and making sure she's okay. I love these shots of Mooney just stuffing her face with food.
Yeah. I'm going to try a strawberry and a raspberry at the same time.
Yeah, it's like 5 seconds. He goes, that's gross. And it just cuts again, and then she just keeps eating. And I just thought, oh my God, I thought Brooklyn Prince was such a good job. She's like the embodiment of just like childhood, like naivety, and just, I thought it was great. I thought it was just an awesome moment just to watch this little kid just enjoy a meal and just, she's like, oh, I feel like I'm going to burp.
Yeah.
She's like, she's just like, oh my God, I wish I had a bigger stomach. She's just ripping food apart. And she's just having a good time. And I really liked that. I thought it was super cute.
Yeah.
And Mooney's like, we got to come here again.
Yeah.
And then, oh my God, this was devastating. She was like, the shot just cuts to Haley and she's just staring at her. And I was just like, what is going through her head? I don't even know. She's like, can I have your room number? And then she just has the room number. Like some random freaking number.
I think that's what the room number is at the Magic Castle. Like that's her actual room number, and then she just gives it as if it's the same number.
Oh my God. I didn't catch that. 323, that is the room. Damn. Okay. I didn't notice that, but yeah, that's cool. And then, so after the whole buffet thing, I love the shot of just Haley walking. And she's just staring down the hallway, and she knows what's at the end of the hallway.
Yeah.
And she knows what's going on. And then I guess we have to talk about this ending, because...
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, the ending really, I don't know. I was sad, but also really love how they just went for it at the end. Like they just went for the crazy, like fantastical ending. They shoot it like a really like, I don't even know what kind of camera effect this is, but it just looks so choppy. It might just be like a higher frame rate.
Mm-hmm.
So they get back and child service is there, and they're just like, we have to take Mooney away. And initially Mooney's like, okay, like she's not really registering it, but it gets to a point where Mooney's like, I don't want to go. I really don't want to go. And it's just, she's just saying, stop, like you can't take me, just leave me alone. Like I want to see my mom. And I was like, this is just really devastating. And you cut back to between that and Haley just packing up all of her stuff. And then it's also intercut with Bobby just by himself smoking a cigarette.
Right.
And I didn't really know what to make of that. I was like, what's going through Bobby's head?
Yeah, here he doesn't really get that hero moment because there's really nothing he could do to stop what's happening.
He's smoking a cigarette. He's biting his nails. Like you could tell he's like nervous and worried about it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just like it's just tragedy. It's like Bobby just knows that he can't do anything about what's going on.
I feel like it's a loss for Bobby as well. Like you said earlier, how much time he's put into caring for these kids, you know, scaring off that pedophile, and just watching out for them, that we've seen. Like even that hide and seek scene, if you remember that, like he lets
him hide under the desk. I thought that was a really cute moment. Like it shows that Bobby has such a heart.
Right. So now to have them get split up, it maybe like he feels a bit of failure too for not maybe pushing Haley harder or looking out for them more. Like it's not his responsibility, but there's always that like, yeah, but I could have done more anyway.
Yeah, the whole what if. You get into the what if trap.
Yeah. And it's really gotta be difficult to just watch this whole thing play out right there in front of him.
Oh, 100%. I like the last thing we see of Haley is her like an extreme close up of her mouth just saying fuck you like as loud as she can. And then the next shot, I mean, then we just get Mooney running through to, what is it, Fantasyland that they live in?
Futureland.
Futureland. Okay, they live in Futureland, and knocks on the door, and she talks to Jancy, and she's like, "Please help." And this broke my heart. This really broke my heart. She's like, "You're my best friend. It's maybe the only time I'm gonna see you again." And I was like, "Oh my god!" I was like, "Why is this child actor doing this to me?" Not that child actors can't like do this, but she's so good.
Mm-hmm.
And she's just crying, and she's just like, she knows it's, you know, she knows it's coming to an end. But then
she doesn't know, like, she doesn't really know why or what's going to happen next, but she does get that sense that like something really bad is happening now.
Yeah, she's just like, I can't say it, and she's like holding her face, and you know, props to, you know, Sean Baker's direction here, but he just holds the camera there.
Yeah.
And you just watch Mooney cry, and then you see Jancy breathing like really heavily, and then this is where we get it just goes off the rails at this point. Jancy just grabs Mooney's hand, and they just run to Disney World.
Mm-hmm. All the way to the Magic Kingdom.
Yeah, all the way to Magic Kingdom, holding hands, and then the film ends there. I don't exactly know what to make of it. Do you think this is real? Okay.
So, yeah, the first time I watched it with the change in camera, like just everything was different than the visual language established throughout the rest of the film.
Yeah.
So it completely jarred me the first time. But after, you know, like thinking about it and watching it again a few times, I do think that this happens within Mooney's mind. Like they've lived on the outskirts of this magical place for her entire life, I'm assuming. So at this juncture in her life where it's all about the change and maybe not for the better, does she not get to see what this magical place is all about, at least for a little bit? So within her mind, she gets to escape with her best friend to the happiest place on earth and just see what Disney is on the inside.
Everything about the situation yells fantasy, like going with your best friend to the happiest place in the world, to a fake magic castle.
Yeah.
But, and I mean, yeah, the technical aspects don't help either. It's like the camera is completely shaky cam handheld. It's super choppy. I'm assuming that's a shutter speed crank where it's just like it just has like that that staccato kind of feel to it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And
like I felt a little action movie like.
Yeah, very, very, and it's like super disorienting. I don't I don't know if it's real or not. I'm genuinely struggling with it because I mean, the whole time through this film, Mooney's been allowed to run around and do whatever she wants to, so it makes sense that she just they've been living here all their lives. I'm assuming they would know that Disney is right there. I mean, they live right there. It just fits. I feel like they'd be able to just go and do this. But at the same time, in the context of it all, with everything falling apart, and then you have this juxtaposed next to everything falling apart, it makes it seem like it's fantastical and extravagant. But there's a part of me that says, like, what if? Like, what if this is real? But I struggle with it. I don't know. I genuinely have no idea. I mean, I've only seen the film once. Maybe I do need a second viewing to really get a grasp on it. But this first time, yeah, it is pretty jarring. I don't know.
Yeah. It's I think the director did say that he wanted to leave the ending ambiguous. So it is completely valid to like just not really know whether or not it's real. Of course I want it to be real, but
I mean, I want it to as well, but it also brings up questions of like, even if it was real, it's not permanent.
yeah.
And
It's
that
temporary escape.
and that impermanence, it's like, if it's like, why even go down that route if it's not going to be permanent? So if it's not permanent, it must be just fake. It must be a figment of imagination, which I guess could support it. But you could also argue that even if Mooney could get an hour or two just in Disney, that would make it up to her, or that would just make her happy. But I don't know. There's so much. I don't know. At the end of it all, I just don't know.
That is, yeah, I'm leaning towards it's within her mind. It's not actually happening.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a hard lean.
Yeah. Damn. I mean, I'm inclined to believe it's. I mean, just the radical change in the way it's shot, everything like that. Yes, that would lead you to believe that it is. It is just in her head. Yeah. But I mean, man, maybe that's just me projecting. Maybe like I want it to be her escaping this finally, and
that change in filming, it's partly out of necessity. It doubles as a storytelling device, but it's also because Disney doesn't let you film professionally within its parks. So Sean Baker's first film, Tangerine, he shot completely on iPhone. So whereas the rest of this film is shot on film, he shot this scene on an iPhone.
Huh. There definitely is a loss in detail.
Yeah, you can see there's a loss in quality, but
it works for the effect of
right
what they're trying to do here. Damn. Yeah, I don't know what to think. Yeah, I don't know if it's real or not, but either way, I think it's a great ending. I think it's a great ending. I think it's a great film. I guess. Wow. Yeah, I guess we'll get to our ratings now. You go first. I'm still trying to mull over this ending.
Yeah, watching it through my first time, I really liked all of it, and then the ending was like, wait, what? And then after thinking about that and watching it a few more times, I've come to really like the ending as well. So, I mean, with all the themes, being able to explore a life that I have no real personal connection to, Baker was able to make it so interesting and vivid and colorful and add all these layers onto it that I can't really see or like point out much of anything wrong with it. So, wow. I mean, I think this gets a 10 out of 10 for me.
Oh, wow. Okay. Damn. All right. Let's see. So, where do I stand with this film? So I think I'm gonna settle on. I think I'm gonna settle on a 9, 8.75 or a 9 out of 10.
Okay.
There were moments in this film that the beginning specifically where I was really unsure of where the film was trying to go, what it was trying to say. And by the end of it, I understood and I was really on board, but there were some points where it not dragged, but some things just felt like they weren't as important to really anything. Like the whole scene with Gloria. I was like, yes, it was funny, but I was like, there was enough comedy with our like the characters that we do have that I don't really think we really need that type of thing. And just little things like that. I thought, but other than that, I really have no other gripes. Really, I mean, and it's losing a little bit more from a 10 just because the ending is something that I really, really like, but I just wish I had something a little bit more to grasp onto and to judge it with and to actually figure out on my own. But right now, as of right now, I just have no idea. I don't really know what the answer is to what the ending means. Not that I need an answer, but I don't know. I like a little bit of I wanted something to at least tell me or to give me a hint, but overall, I mean, but other than those gripes, the performances are great. I love the character work in this film so much. It's subtle, it's strong. Defoe is freaking fantastic. I love Brooklyn Prince in this movie. I think Mooney's probably the strongest character in the film. I think she's acted the best. Genuinely, I think over Defoe, I like Brooklyn Prince's performance better. I think she has to do more than Bobby does.
Absolutely, yeah.
And the art direction, just the design of everything, the color. I mean, what the film does to portray a warped sense of a kingdom, a warped sense of magic. I think it does it masterfully. And, I can't compliment the film enough in that regard. So, yeah, this film, it's, I'll settle on a 9. I think it's definitely deserving of a 9 out of 10. This is a great movie. I mean, I've never seen anything else from Sean Baker, but I'll check out whatever else he's made.
Yeah, me too.
So, I think that's it from us. Next episode we're doing is Reservoir Dogs. I'm so excited for Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah, me too. I have never seen it.
I'm editing Reservoir Dogs. I'm just telling you I'm editing Reservoir Dogs.
Okay.
I might actually just go all out and do like an intro for it too, just cause.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really liked it. But we'll table that discussion for later. But yeah, that was the Florida Project. I am glad that we tackled this film. I thought it was great. Good suggestion, Dylan.
Thank you.